Hi everyone, it's Ken Lam, Music Director of the Illinois Symphony. With me is our Principal Percussionist, Andrew Cierny. Hi Andrew, how are you
Hey,
doing?
Karen, how are you? I'm doing great. And yourself?
Andrew, so you are our, I guess, newly appointed Principal Percussion of the Illinois Symphony Orchestra. But this is not the first season you've played with us. Tell us a little bit about your history with the orchestra.
Yeah, so actually last season during 2019, maybe going back even further than that, I'd always been, being a native resident of Illinois, I'd always been, really curious about the Illinois Symphony and the ISO, and our paths never crossed. And then I had gotten the opportunity last season on the Pines of Rome concert with, pretty large percussion section to jump in and, sub with the orchestra. And I really enjoyed the experience, playing two different venues and playing great repertoire. It was a really exciting concert just to kind of get acclimated with the group. And then it actually coincided with the orchestra audition for Principal Percussion, which occurred basically right interim that same time. So, it really felt like a good fit, very natural. And then, of course, went on to, after the audition, went on to play a couple of concert cycles later on in the year, and some really great music. The Heroes and Villains pop cycle, which the Harry Potter, Harry's Wondrous World, and some other John Williams pieces, which are among my favorites. So everything was it was a really exciting time, and of course getting the appointment and at least getting to do one full masterworks as principal in February. So
oh my goodness,
can't wait to go back and do more.
We're kind of all missing the concerts, right? I mean, what have you been up to these couple of months?
Well, so, I found myself coming off of a really busy January, February, and March, and really, just different, of course, I play with other ensembles as well. I play with the South Bend Symphony, the Illinois Philharmonic, which is a little bit closer here around Chicago, and I played with the Chicago Sinfonietta. We did a couple of nice concerts, and basically coming off of all of that, I didn't really know quite which way was up and which way is down once this all started, and I found myself a little bit in the beginning of the pandemic, a little bit just slightly unmotivated and not really sure about, being concerned, obviously, the state of, affairs in the country. So, I would pick up my sticks, I'd play for maybe 5 or 10 minutes and then put them down and, not really, know what it was I wanted to work on, but I knew I wanted to do something. And, I took some time away. I did a lot of reading and, of course, staying inside, all those activities. And, eventually started to find my way back to the instruments and, with the kind of a new mindset. And it's always good to spend a little bit of time away from the instruments and, do some study of, just recordings and, just other activities completely unrelated to music. So.
Oh, that's really great. Now, Andrew, together with two other percussionists, Jeremy Brunk and Aaron, you guys are going to put together a performance for our Sunday at Six Series. Now, I talked to Aaron and Jeremy earlier about the sort of percussion ensemble as a genre. I thought I would leave it up to you to tell us about what you guys are actually playing on Sunday.
Yeah, so, there's just as I'm sure, Jeremy and Aaron revealed, percussion ensemble type music is kind of a relatively new genre if you think of, how long the symphony orchestra and, of course, some of our instruments within the orchestra, how many hundreds and thousands of years they go back. But percussion being relatively new instrument to begin with, it's only been, fairly recent that composers have begun to explore the possibilities, the sonic possibilities of percussion and what we can do, with ourselves. And, not that we don't enjoy playing with all the other instruments, of course, in those contexts, but it's really great to, take our time and be able to, build our own chamber music concerts. So what I tried to do, I basically chose a program that I felt was going to, showcase obviously the three of us musicians and the different, skills and skill sets that we bring, but, also to show like a plethora of, the percussion instruments that we have. So for instance, we're starting off with a snare drum duet, which, you know, it just brings an interesting twist to an instrument like the snare drum, which is, of course, a monotone instrument in the sense that we can't play different pitches. But this particular solo, it's called Red Panthers. It's a really nice, spirited, quick piece that, not only gets us warmed up, but showcases the snare drum. And then we're going to be playing, there's a contemporary composer who doesn't write just for percussion. He writes a lot of mixed ensemble, Steve Reich. And we're playing a piece of his called Nagoya Marimbas. And Nagoya Marimbas is just a wonderful piece. I've played a bunch of other Steve Reich pieces. Fortunately, one of his flagship pieces is, in addition to this one, Music for 18 Musicians, which I got to play down at the New World Symphony quite a while ago. And this Nagoya Marimbas piece, it's a marimba duet. And for me, it has little, reminders of the Music for 18 Musicians in it, as well as some of his other compositions. We're going to be, myself and Jeremy Bronk are one of our other percussionists. We're both going to be playing a solo piece, and I'll leave the details of that a surprise until the concert, although I can tell you it's going to be on vibraphone. And I know Jeremy's, as far as I know, is going to be on marimba. And then to tie in our full percussion ensemble experience, we're going to actually be doing two trios. So the first one is actually a marimba piece, and Jeremy and I kind of brainstormed this idea up ourselves. He's going to play the marimba part, and then Aaron, our other percussionist on the program, Aaron and I are actually going to be accompanying Jeremy with some different, hand percussion, light drum set. We're going to kind of jazz up this marimba solo that Jeremy's going to be playing. And then our final piece is going to be a piece called Lift Off, and it's written by Russell Peck. And he's actually, speaking of the origins of the percussion ensemble, he was one of the originals to, really showcase a percussion trio in the 1960s. It's a Lift Off from 1966, and it features just drums, so it's very energetic.
Right. Well, that's really what. So, Jeremy, I'm sure in a lot of our listeners' minds, how do you rehearse during these times?
So rehearsal has been quite a challenge these days. So, for instance, all our, I actually just came back. I take some voyages out to the suburbs where, our instruments are rather big. So the suburbs of Chicago is where I have a marimba located out at, it's actually, I store it out at my parents' house. And I take some voyages out there, visit with them, and I'm able to, I can practice all I want on the marimba. And then I have my vibraphone and xylophone down here in Chicago where I live, and I can remotely practice that way. And then in terms of the other guys, I know they have similar situations. Usually percussionist dilemmas are one person owns this instrument, another person owns that instrument. So we always have to coordinate. And that also becomes a little bit of our interplay of choosing our repertoire based on, what everybody has access to. And, I when I chose a lot of these pieces, and I know, coordinating it with Jeremy too, we wanted to be mindful of our collective rehearsal time so that we didn't choose things that, for instance, with limited, with about, 1 to 2 rehearsals that we were going to, not be able to really polish and get to the point where we, we're really happy with them from a quality control standpoint. But that is always an issue, is getting, as you mentioned, getting all the instruments and the players in the same place, because we certainly just don't have a backpack with a couple of clarinets in it.
That's right. Well, we really appreciate the three of you putting this together. I know it's logistically difficult, and rehearsing musically is very challenging, and just so grateful that you you guys put together this show for us. So we look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday.
Really looking forward to it, and we really can't wait to get back out there and play some music that resonates with all of us.
That's great. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for joining us today.
Okay, thank you, Ken. See you then.